I am here at ODTUG Kscope 25 in beautiful Grapevine, Texas, and I am joined today by one of ODTUG, one of Kscope's amazing gold sponsors, and I brought not one, not two, but three awesome individuals from Accordion. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So is this first time for all of you at Kscope, or second, 17th?
Fifth? Yeah.
Fifth?
Yeah. Third sponsoring and fifth attending. So
Awesome. What keeps bringing Accordion back?
Honestly, the people, the product, everything. We want to learn. We bring our people here, and we also want to help answer some questions. So we're actually hosting one of the sessions ourselves, just to keep educating the larger community. We love
Great.
this stuff.
What session are you doing?
We're actually working with one of our partners. They've been with us for upwards of about 10 years. It is their really EPM journey, and it's more about talking about the pitfalls and what really went wrong versus what went right fully, and as well as the ROI that came of it, right? One thing that I feel like gets lost is we don't always talk about it on the exit of what really the value came to the business. So because they implemented the full stack, they felt like, well, let's educate everybody else and see where this goes.
So for those of you, the people who don't know, there might be 5 or 6 brand new people on, but to all of those brand new 5 or 6 people, tell them what Accordion does.
Accordion is, we partner with organizations to deploy EPM full stack. The real sweet spot that we found, and where we find customers coming to us over some of our competitors, is that you get just absolute rock star expertise with not the rock star price points.
And they're not demanding green M&Ms or...
No. And we're at this point in our growth trajectory where we've got just a fantastic team. The folks that are here are the same experts that are going to be implementing. We're not going to put one of our senior folks in a sales cycle in front of a customer and then hand it off to a junior person for the same rate. And our customers, because of that, we see lots of longevity. We find almost unnaturally that when we get started on a project, we get the customer deployed, we get them stood up, we get them successful, and they just keep coming back. And that's great for us, obviously, but it's really great for the customer success stories at the end of the day.
I mean, it's nice to have that continuity, because the people that you're meeting with and they're meeting with you, you get them for the entire, not sales cycle, not just implementation cycle, but your retention is amazing.
Yeah.
They're staying there for year after year. It's not that revolving door that some of the firms have.
It truly is just these solid relationships. And where that really gets interesting is the customers that we have who have hopped from one organization to the next and maybe replaced a competitive solution, and they take us with them.
That's nice. You become the continuity. As the people change the jerseys, the Accordion shirts, actually I'll still say the same.
That's right.
So in that EPM space, what changes have you noticed? What's been happening recently?
Within the EPM space itself, there's a lot of exciting things that are happening. I mean, we're getting more and more introduced into AI and the capabilities of AI and what's available out there, which I think is going to really change the game with regards to financial reporting and even from a perspective of planning and forecasting, budgeting, closing, all of that. So I think there's a lot more to come. I think there's a lot has come already, but I think there's still growth opportunity. And I think that coming in this space, no matter if you've never done it before, or even if you have done it, I think there's still great opportunities for organizations to embrace and really go with EPM.
So one of the things that I've noticed lately, just related to AI, is companies are kind of taking one of 3 approaches. And I'm curious what you've seen more or less of any of them. Yep. So approach number 1 is companies are waiting for it to be embedded. Okay, let's wait till Oracle adds some features to EPM. The second method is some are building it. And they're saying there's a lot of great technologies out there, whatever, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, XAI, you name it, and they build it themselves. The third approach is buying individualized point solutions. They need something to analyze talent, so they'll go buy an AI solution for that. You have a ton of different customers. What are you seeing people doing right now, and is that going to change over the next few years?
I think those are all 3 good points, and I think it really depends upon the customer and the scale and size of the customer. I think some are, if they're large and they have a big organization that can support internal growth and building it upon themselves, that is obviously their right decision to go about doing that. But I think really what it comes down to is I think the wait and see kind of game I personally think is going to could be a setback. Whereas the pointed solutions where you have something available to you now, even if it doesn't have a full broad scope of what's available within AI, if you get into the game now as it scales and everything, you're going to be one step ahead of it and ready to go and embrace it as it continues to grow.
We're also seeing customers that are using either non-production data or operational data. They're not necessarily yet running the business on AI, so to speak, but they're using that data to compare, maybe in a rolling forecast, what is the power of AI, and they're seeing really, really high percentage results because they're doing some of that experimentation.
Yeah, I mean, it turns out, this is a little known fact that we're now going to share with the entire internet. Humans aren't good at forecasting. We're really bad at predicting and finding patterns and like how things are going to. All we do is we look at charts and hope they go up and to the right.
That's right.
Because if they're doing that, something must be good, like about what's actually happening.
Right.
Yep.
So, but far too few companies are willing to just turn it over to AI and let AI create the budget or create the plan. So is what you're seeing, they're kind of doing that along with the humans right now and seeing who comes in closest? Or
From my perspective, on the planning side of the house, I think really what it is it's a complementary effort, right? I don't think any financial organization is getting away from some kind of manual manipulation of their budget, but it's good to know that they have an assurance where they can fall back on from an AI or a predictive model or something along those lines to give them checks and balances. Like, am I doing it the right way? Is this really right for our organization? What are these models saying? And if they find there's a variance, then hey, do we want to incorporate those changes or not? But they're in the position of being in control. They're in a position of being able to make that decision on what is the right direction for the company. So.
I guess all I'll add to this, because the commentary makes complete sense, is that it's really getting started. And I think where there was hesitation in the market at first, and not just from an EPM standpoint, but really just the market in general, right? It was first the chat GPTs of the world, right? So now you're getting started and you're asking it prompts, the co-pilots of the world, and now you're getting even a little bit deeper. So then when it comes to EPM, it's always, when do I get started? The answer is yesterday, right? Because at the end of the day, it needs to learn with you, right? You're teaching it. Think of it like teaching your child, right? Overnight, it's not going to be a success, but it will be over time, right? That anomaly detection that we're talking about, it's now how you change possibly your processes, right? Whatever it finds. So as it learns, it'll get closer and closer to the point where then you will start to rely on it, right? So that manual effort to some degree will start to literally be automated, and now you could just, be proactive differently, right? And spend that time elsewhere.
yeah, I think we all believe that there is a point, some people believe it's already here, some people believe it's going to happen, where the AI will be as good as at least an entry-level human.
Yeah.
And some people like, oh yeah, that happened a year ago. Most people say, oh, for the average task, it's 80%. But even those people that believe it's 80% or 90% or 50%, they know there's a time coming where it will be 100%. So to prepare for that, I like the testing method. Do they hire a human for 2 years and then have to terminate them when the AI can do their job for those brand new people? Or do they live with what they have and wait for it to get there? Do they build a solution, being thrilled when it becomes obsolete because it's now included?
Yeah. I think we're going to see, just as we've seen customers, it's from a tech adoption perspective, we still have customers who are on very, very old but still supported versions of some of the products.
I heard somebody earlier today talk about the S-based spreadsheet add-in.
Yeah,
they were still using it. It was like, did that still exist? Yeah. Like, oh yeah, Applied OLAP made a version of it, but yeah.
Yeah, so, and for certain customers and use cases, it works perfectly. Other customers are leaning heavily into it, and whether you want to think of it as the folks who lose their job, there's also opportunity in that for them to, maybe they become the next AI experts, So we're seeing across the board, it's really a cultural thing, and it's exciting to watch.
What's
to be part of.
Thank you for helping people with the strategy.
Yeah.
So, I think one thing we're also seeing is it's complementary. So I think it's not necessarily looked at as it's going to start severing heads. Could it happen? Of course, anything can happen in that. But it's more around, how do we restructure the business now in the right way, right? Because they're not spending that time rolling those spreadsheets. They're not the ones doing that manual input, so they're reviewing it. So if you think about it, they're becoming more analytical, and they're really driving the business rather than just putting numbers on a spreadsheet sometimes, right? So we get lost in those details at times, just making it the perfect number. But the reality is, if you're not just looking at a number and you're looking at what makes that up, now you're really thinking about, what should I change in the business, right? How should I allocate things a little bit differently, and so on. So
Yeah, I think people forget that any report, any budget should either lead to a deeper question or it should lead to a physical action.
Yeah.
And AI isn't particularly good at the follow-on questions, and it turns out to be pretty horrible at making sure action actually gets taken. So I think the good news is, as the humans, their role is going to go from being someone who does all the manual ticking and tying, moving back and forth, to being people who genuinely care, because nothing about AI doesn't really give a flying fig. Humans care about gainful employment, so we want to make sure the company takes good action and actually advances us ahead. I really want to thank you all for the time, and we'll be seeing Accordion in Denver in Case Cup 26.
Yeah,
We'll be there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And we hope to see some of you there at June 14th through 18th, 2026 in Denver. And until then, keep asking good questions.
3, 2, 1.